Hello, I am Stephanie Keel. I am the Director of Marketing at the Arts Center of Kershaw County, and we are currently working on a virtual production of The Importance of Being Earnest. And tonight we are I am honored to interview Mr. Frank Thompson, who is in this play, and he is also a co-director of this play. So this interview is probably going to be really interesting. Frank, welcome. We love you so much. Frank has spent a lot of time on the stage at the Arts Center. And some of your most notable roles, I think, would definitely be in Mamma Mia, Addams Family. I was thinking about you today, and I literally lost count of all of the things that you have either participated in as an actor or a director here on our campus. So why don't you just kind of tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, who are you?
I feel like I should tear open my shirt and scream I'm Jean Valjean after that introduction, but I have been active at the Arts Center since, 2011. I think was when I was first approached by Larry Hembry about directing a musical at the Arts Center, and got to know Kristen there and directed Chicago. And the next year directed A Christmas Story, and you've listed a few other things. My favorite role of all time on the Camden stage is, of course, Gomez Addams. That just spoke to my heart. So that was a lot of fun. I'm originally from Birmingham, Alabama. Grew up there, graduated from law school, and 3 years of law school taught me that I didn't want to be a lawyer. So I did the New York thing for a little while, did a national tour of Jekyll and Hyde, came back to Birmingham and was founding artistic director of Center Stage, performance company in Birmingham. And since then, had a midlife crisis, fell in love, moved to Columbia, fell out of love, met someone else, and have been happily married for 5 years. So I guess all's well that ends well.
That's so great. How did you become interested in acting? Was it sort of something that happened as a child? Did you see a particular show? Was there a pivotal moment where you thought, I really love this and I want to be a part of this world?
I wish I could say there was some great road to Damascus moment, but it was more gradual. As a kid, I loved to do imitations of people on TV, and that's probably what led me to admire so many of the actors that have been significant in my development. Paul Lynde, Jim Backus, John Astin, Rex Harrison. Back in that era when a lot of the film actors and TV actors had gotten their start in radio, I think the voice was used much more often. So to create a character, there was not as much reliance on face and motion.
Who's your favorite? If you had to say who your favorite performer, actor was, male or female, alive or dead?
Rex Harrison.
Is that an inspirational favorite?
It is in many ways. I fell in love with musicals after I saw My Fair Lady as a kid. I saw the movie, and Rex Harrison's performance as Higgins imprinted on me. I've been fortunate to have played Higgins a few times in the past and have blatantly stolen from Rex Harrison each time, and plan to steal from him again when that opportunity arises. A lot of he would be at the top, but a lot of the, as we were saying earlier, the 1960s sitcom players, Jim Backus, Paul Lynde, John Astin. I always loved the variety shows. Carol Burnett, Harvey Korman is another actor I've always admired. The sort of theater-based actors.
Right.
Always really spoken to me. And that's another, I'm bad to ramble off toward the end. But
I love rambling. It's the best.
Well, thank you. I'm practicing to be old.
So this isn't something new that we've never done before, but you guys are celebrities in our community, and we see you on stage, but very rarely do we have the opportunity to see you on camera or on stage just as you. We really just kind of want to get to know you. And you did touch on something that I wanted to mention. A lot of performers tend to be like all right brain, creative, play instruments, visual artists, singers, those types of things. I know you are a singer and you're also a writer. So could you talk a little bit about that, just how those different facets of the arts sort of intertwine in your personal life and professional life?
Everything you listed, acting, singing, writing, directing, I enjoy all of them. And I'm going to have to ask you, is right brain logic or is left brain? Which one is the fun artsy?
Wait, maybe we're left brain.
Okay. I'm whichever one can't do math and is terrible with money.
Same.
Boom. But even within the restrictions of something like a script or a score, you can still find creativity. That's one of the things I love about working on classical pieces like Earnest, is doing it a little differently. None of us would have wanted it to happen under these conditions, but it has been interesting to explore Zoom and approach the project from that angle.
So how has that been for you personally through COVID? I mean, COVID has literally shut us down, the theater industry. How has this been a tool or a coping mechanism for you to sort of endure this global pandemic? I can say, you know, as an audience member, just to know that you guys are working on this and performing is wonderful because we get to see you perform. But as a performer, what has that been like for you to have that whole sort of area of your life immediately cut off? And then how has this, doing the importance of being earnest, how has that helped?
It has definitely affected my life. I am a social creature, but I'm also a bit of an introvert. So it's been a little easier for me, I think, the element of being secluded and having another person in the house. My wife and I have kind of cocooned, and of course I have to go out occasionally, as does she. But I've had socialization with another person at least, and have had friends over occasionally. But there hasn't been that collective energy. There hasn't been that feeling of hanging out during rehearsal, or there's always, you know, an inside joke or two in every production you do. And that sense of immediacy has been missing. But we found it in Zoom. And I think that's helped us connect as actors as well as individuals. That has certainly helped me, as has plunging into the work of Oscar Wilde. I have always admired him as a writer, loved his turn of phrase, and Earnest is one of my very favorite plays. So to sort of get to put together my dream team from all of Zoom, and we have a couple of people from Alabama. Most of the cast is from South Carolina, but it's really been fun. And I think someone mentioned earlier about finding ways around roadblocks, and I always call that Sherlock Holmesing a problem. All right, here we face a challenge. We've hit this. How do we go around it? Do we go under it? Do we go over it? What do we do? And I just think we're so fortunate to live in the age of social media and Zoom and this sort of thing, that the creative soul can be nourished and there can be socialization with your peers. It's been nice. Just occasionally, a few of us will stay on and talk for 5 or 10 minutes afterward. And I think the coping for me has primarily been found through online interaction and immersion in the work. I just so love Oscar Wilde, particularly this piece.
So speaking of Oscar Wilde and this piece, there are a lot of people who are unfamiliar. Could you, without giving away too much of the plot, tell us a little bit about this show? That would be wonderful. Just to kind of let people know where what the setting is, the time, all of that.
Yes, the importance of being earnest is, as I like to describe it, a sitcom in the late Victorian era. It involves mistaken identities. It involves people pretending to be people they aren't. The wrong person enters the room just as the right person exits, that sort of thing. It has elements of farce, but I think it goes beyond that. Just the facility with language that Wilde brings to the script. Some of the wittiest phrases that I can think of have come from Oscar Wilde, and he's one of those people, along with David Sedaris, that I'll read something of his and go, "Damn, I wish I'd written that," and a few occasions just lie and say that I did.
So I guess to say that it's clever is sort of an understatement.
It is very clever. There are two young couples, and of course their stars are crossed, and all sorts of shenanigans ensue. There is one of the funniest characters, I think, in the whole show is Lady Bracknell, who is sort of the grande dame. If you're familiar with Downton Abbey, she's the Dowager Duchess. And Racy Talbot, who has done several things on the Camden stage. She was in Mamma Mia, among them, and I think she was in Superstar. She plays Lady Bracknell with great hauteur and fun, and that is something else that I've enjoyed with this. I think we have combined technology with stage acting, and that's how Frank Corrali and I came to co-direct. Our good friend of ours, Charlie Goodrich, had started a series earlier in the summer of public domain works, and it was kind of, hey kids, let's put on a show. And I jumped in and said I would direct Earnest, and mentioned it to Frank because I always like to have Frank and Richard involved in anything I do. A, because I love them, and B, because they do fabulous work and I don't have to worry. But they got involved, and then got the Art Center involved, and it just sort of expanded and got to be bigger and bigger, and has become the production we're about to put together. And I came to realize how much of an overlap in this new medium provides between the director and the technical director. And with Frank Corrali and I both being in the show and being such good friends, it made sense. Hell, let's just direct it together. And there have been a few times that I have actually tippy-toed over into the tech side and said, "Oh, should he turn that way or should she do that?" And that's sort of new for me. That's like going up to the TD and saying, "Please move that light, 3 inches to the left." I haven't generally done that, but also getting Frank's artistic input as an actor and a director himself. He brings a great deal of talent and a different perspective to the show. So I feel like we've got the best of both worlds, and we're each keeping each other propped up.
It's so great.
Neither one of us, we can't have a meltdown at the same time. We have to choose. I have mine on odd numbered days, his on even, and Sundays we take off.
I just think it's so incredible what you are doing, what you guys are putting together. I know that COVID has been so challenging, but we're all learning. I mean, basically, you guys are filming a movie. I mean, I don't know if people completely understand the process of editing film, but that is no small feat. And
I do not understand the process of editing film. I have no idea.
I mean,
Frank, do we need to do that again? Could you see me picking my nose? Oh, damn. All right, I'll start over 3, 2, and yeah, it's amazing to me what people like Frank and Richard, who understand how the computer boxes work so well. I kind of agree with Katie. I know how to get on the internet and read the news and argue with strangers, but when it comes down to editing things, creating things, I can put Kathy Hartzog's head on a variety of bodies and or creatures. I've developed that skill.
What character are you playing in The Importance of Being Earnest?
I am playing Mr. Jack Worthing, who is in this show. It's a little bit outside my wheelhouse. He is more of the straight man. He has some funny lines and is definitely humorous, but he's much more Jack Tripper and less Larry the upstairs neighbor. So I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I get to say that I'm 29 years old and no one's allowed to laugh out loud. So that's good.
That's definitely a win.
Positive, brings me mental health.
Well, Frank, thank you so much for taking time to share with us about your life, your experiences, directing the show, being in the show. We are eternally grateful at the Arts Center, and we cannot wait for the release date to come.
Well, thank you. Whatever I can give to the Arts Center is a tiny fraction of what I've received. Just the chance to direct and act and teach and be so involved at such a wonderful place with such nice people. I definitely still come out ahead.
Thanks. We love you.